wanted to give everyone a few thoughts about motivation. I was actually going to do this live in Kohl's a minute ago, but annoyingly, yesterday I happened to walk into Old Navy while I was doing my live, and whatever music was playing in the background at Old Navy picked up by the copyright people, and the video got demonetized. I mean, it doesn't make a huge difference really at this point, because it's not like those videos get a ton of money anyways. Anyone who has a YouTube channel can tell you that. I think most YouTube money is made by memberships and then also by sponsorships for those who have big platforms or big names. But it's just annoying that you can do a video that has nothing to do with the music, and then it catches like a little bit of the music playing faintly in the background, and people are not finding your video because of the music, and then they can take away your ability to make money off of the video based on that. But anyways, a few thoughts about motivation. After my last session with my personal trainer, he was talking to me and asking me, like, what is it going to take for you to get back into the groove that you were in when you were running 20 plus miles a week and you were doing this consistently for a number of months? And I was like, you know what? That is a great question. And he was like, yeah, because you have these goals and you say that you want to achieve these goals. Some of them are goals in terms of health goals, but some of them are goals in terms of the fitness competitions that I always do. I've been doing them, but I have not been getting anywhere close to the type of times that I was getting when I was doing them, when I was really into the running. So I said to him, listen, nothing really motivates me to run because I don't really like running. I ran today, and when I run, it's struggle bus, when I run long distances, because I've always been a short distance runner and a sprinter. That I've liked. I like sprinting, but I have never been a good long distance runner, nor have I ever liked long distance running. But the reason why I was in that particular groove at that time is because when these races would come up, what I would do is I would hit the gym and I would hit the weights. And I would start getting heavier and heavier with the weights. And then, my arms would get bigger, my shoulders would get bigger, my legs would get stronger. But my times, this wind is not. But my times in those competitions were not improving. And then I started to study. I started to look up what the people who were winning those competitions were doing. And a lot of them had an aerobic base. All of them had an aerobic base. Even the ones that were not natural runners, they had to implement significant amounts of running into their training sessions to be able to achieve those times that they were trying to get. So when I told them that there's nothing that really motivates me to run because I don't like running and I'm not like a natural runner, I'm not built like a runner, like I'm a football player that has transitioned into learning how to run these long distances as I've gotten older. I've been on this journey to become more of an endurance athlete. So he told me, sometimes it's not really about, motivation is not about doing things that you like. It's about doing the things that you don't like in order to achieve in the areas you want to achieve in. And I was like, that is a good thought. That is a good point. Because then it really did make me revisit that time period of 6 months or so where I was crushing these runs. I can't even believe that I was running 20 plus miles every single week. And I had a race, like an actual organized race, almost every weekend. 5Ks, 10Ks, 10 milers. I even completed a half marathon at my, well, not at my best, because that was two different time periods. But I have completed a half marathon at one point. Hi, Tuma family. You are first. You are indeed the first. So, yeah, I did think about what motivated me to run during that time. It was because through each of these runs, when I would get back to one of my fitness competitions, the ones that involved the weights and the running, now all of a sudden I was starting to see improvements in my times with those. So I was like, wow, the running is really the secret key that unlocks the door to these faster finishing times for my competitions. So I was really in this groove. What got me out of the groove, unfortunately, was the loss of my dad last year in April. Because at that point in time, I was in the best shape that I had been in years. And the first thing to go was honestly the running. I was able to at least stay in the gym. I was able to at least maintain doing my strength training with the weights, but the running was out the door. And I really have not been in any kind of running schedule since then. I have ran on occasion. And actually, I ran 5K this morning, and it was the first time that I have run that distance, I believe, this entire year. When I'm doing runs, I'm usually running for a mile and then stopping. Not because my body gives out after a mile, but because I just haven't been mentally into it. And when I started the run today, I didn't look at my watch because I didn't want to know how far I had gone. I was hoping that I could get to the whole 5K and then my watch would just buzz and tell me that I was there. But what actually happened was I felt like stopping at a point. I looked to see how far I had gone, and it was like 1.35 miles, which meant that I had about 1.75 miles to go, if my math was correct. Hi, Colleen. So what I said to myself is, okay, I'm almost halfway there. So stopping at this point, hi, Braden. Stopping at this point, I'd be really pissed at myself if I set out to run the 5K and I stopped at the halfway point. Starting to do something that is difficult for you, challenging yourself, is a whole different story than doing something that is what makes you feel comfortable. So for an example, running 1 mile, which I said earlier in this video, something that I have been doing, like run a mile here, run a mile there. You know why? Because it's not challenging for me to run a mile. Even if I run a slow mile, I'm gonna be done in 11 to 12 minutes. I throw on maybe like 3 to 4 songs on my earphones, and then I'm done. I'm already done the mile. So it's not even getting to a point where I feel challenged at all. So when I passed that mile threshold, my brain recognized that I was past that mile, and now I was going into mile 2. So I had to mentally commit myself, like, okay, even though I want to stop right now because I feel like 2 miles is going to be some kind of a challenge, I'm going to keep going. So that middle mile was the really significant one, because that's the one where I felt like I wanted to stop the most. And then I started having those familiar conversations with myself where I was like, man, I could just stop right here. It doesn't matter. 1.5 miles is further than I've been in the last 6 months. So I could just call it a day and get up to 3 miles eventually. Then I was like, are you here to be good, or are you here to be great? Are you here to finish the job that you set out to accomplish? Or are you going to stop in the middle and then just walk off the course? And then I had those conversations with me for like a quarter to a half mile. Then once I got to like 1.75, 1.8 miles, I was like, just push a little bit more. Get to 2 miles and see what happens. Mind you, I'm trying to get to 3.1. So then I got to 2 miles, and then I was like, you know what? There's only 1 mile left. I already got through the hardest part. So now it's just about finishing the job and running through the tape. And it just reminded me of something that I haven't felt in a while. That feeling of doing things that are challenging and having that feeling of wanting to give up and then pushing through. Because when I tell you, when I finished that 3.1 miles, how happy I was, amazingly happy. When I finished 1 mile, I'm like, all right, I got a mile in. A mile is better than nothing. Getting into 3, I was like, you know what? I challenged myself. And I got to this point of wanting to quit. And I didn't quit. This is the mental sharpness and toughness that I've been missing for a while, without my dad. It was tough to think about, but I started to develop this routine with these races that I was doing, where I would do the race, and when I was finished with the race, I would go see him afterwards. I don't know how much he understood, but I would literally be talking to him. He couldn't respond. And I was like, Dad, I finished this race. I got this record time. And I would show him pictures. I would show him some videos. He would just be looking at the videos. I didn't know what he was thinking, but it was a comfort for me to be able to come back and do that. And I remember on April 16 of last year, I did a race and I achieved a time that was like 6 minutes faster than the last time I did the same race. And that is significant for that type of race that I was doing. And my plan was to do the same thing that I did after every race. Come back and show him the time, show him the pictures and the videos. And I got the news that day that he was gone. That same day, like a few hours after my race was complete. So I never got a chance to do that. And then from there, I lost that edge that I had that was making me keep pushing for all these different challenges that I was doing. But the thing is, you can come back, something that might have been your motivation at one time. If you live long enough and you're here long enough, you will always have to renew that sense of urgency and figure it out again. And that's the point that I'm at now. And I didn't really connect in my mind that it had to do with my grieving, but it did, because it was like a joy that I attached to him. And now without his physical presence here, it was a joy that I have no longer felt while I'm doing any of these races. I kind of do them, but I don't have the same joy and happiness for them. But today I feel like I'm starting to turn a corner, because now I'm starting to think about these things more. And I'm starting to figure out this mindset is a mindset that I'm going to need for life, not just fitness, because as my fitness goes, so goes my life. I've been stagnant with my goals too in life, because I've been doing things that make me feel comfortable. But things that make me feel comfortable keep me in a pocket where I can never grow. You have to do things outside of your comfort zone to be able to grow. Challenging your own goals is way more satisfying than just comparing to others. That is true. So you have to challenge your comfort zone. And that's how I grew in the first place. Because when I first started doing endurance running, I was so happy to complete 1 mile. Because in high school, I never completed a whole mile of just running. got up to 5K racing. And then I got up to 10K. Then I got up to 10 miles. And like I said, at most I did like a half marathon, 13.1, I believe, or 13.2, something like that. And it was a challenge because that's way out of my comfort zone. I was so scared to do that many miles because I'm like, what if my body breaks down on me? What if I have an anxiety attack? Because I still have those sometimes. But getting through things that push you beyond your limits of what you think you can do, that's what life is about. Challenging yourself, stepping up to the challenge, and you never know what you can do until you push yourself. So that's my Saturday message for today. I hope everyone has an amazing day on purpose. One of my friends used to say, have an amazing day on purpose. And I'll talk to you soon. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell.